Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the GioMoShow, right here on 88.3 FM, WXOU, Auburn Hills, Michigan, Oakland University, and all your wonderful station identification features. I am your host, Giovanni Mosheri. I'm also the sports media director here at WXOU, and the GioMoShow is your home for all Oakland sports and beyond on 88.3 FM. Don't forget to follow WXOU on our MAB award-winning social media platforms, including Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Also, be sure to join the WXOU Discord server, where you can chat with and get to know everybody at the station. And you can find all wonderful articles, game recaps. I say game recaps to focus on the sports. We got everything, all information, articles on anything, and all your updates on the station at WXOU.org. And then while you're on the internet and you're going to our Instagram account, to our Twitter account, TikTok, Discord, website, while you're on the internet doing that, why don't you go and stop by my social media. Stop by the Mosheri Giovanni Instagram page, the GioMoShow Instagram page, spelled the GIOMO show. And why don't you go follow me on Twitter as well at GIO Mosheri WXOU. I'm everywhere on social media, and I got a TikTok somewhere. And if you're not here with me right now on 88.3 FM, first of all, sorry. But second of all, you can find me at any time on YouTube and Spotify. Each and every episode of the GioMoShow is uploaded on there, so you can stop by anytime. And we got the usual menu for you guys on the GioMoShow. We're going to have your Oakland University Club Sports Update. We're going to have your Oakland University NCAA Sports Update. We're going to talk about the Detroit Lions and the game, you could call it that, the performance against the Ravens. We're going to talk about that one. We're going to talk about Week 7 of the NFL, and we're going to make the Week 8 picks right here on the GioMoShow at the end of the show. So be sure to stick around for what I think Week 8 has in store for us. And I've been holding this one back, and I might start doing this as a routine now, but for this week's interview, since we probably are not going to have enough time to play it and tease it and give you a little taste of the interview at the end of the show, I'm going to reveal it right now. I didn't say anything to anybody. I gave you a hint on social media. The GioMoShow Instagram pages had little hints here and there. So if you missed it, now is the grand reveal. This week of the GioMoShow interviews will be none other than D3 Club Hockey. We got basically half the team in the studio for this interview. We talked to Duncan, we talked to Jack, we talked to Brendan, and we had some of the other members of the team in the studio as well as a live studio audience. So be sure to go onto YouTube, to go onto Spotify after the GioMoShow airs, or once we're done airing, I should say, at 7 o'clock. Be sure to find them, watch the interview, learn about the club, and learn where you can find the club on their own social media platforms. They got an Instagram. They got a website, a fantastic website. They got all the information, articles, pre-game, post-game. D3 Club Hockey has it going. So be sure to find my interview with them and to find them on their own sites, we'll say. So that's the interview for this week. And before we get started with the GioMoShow, you know how we start the show. We got to talk about Bart's Pizza. Bart Basilico reinvented his father's pizzeria business by putting it on wheels, which means that's a pizza food truck, baby. Bart and his wife Lauren travel all around Metro Detroit, cook up homemade pies made fresh to order in their 4-layered pizza oven on wheels. You can find them on their website at eatbartspizza.com and Facebook and Instagram at Bart's Pizza. His last name is literally Basil, so you know he knows what he's doing in the kitchen. So make sure to grab a cannoli as well while you're there. Those things are fantastic with a nice homemade pie. And where are they going to be this month? Where are they going to be in the upcoming weeks? You can find that information on their Instagram and website. Once again, eatbartspizza.com and Bart's Pizza on Instagram and Facebook. Bart's Pizza, it's too good. And one more thing just before we get started with the show. I got to give you a heads up. I got to give you the upcoming WXOU live broadcast. I got to give you the weekend schedule. And we only got 2 games coming up for this weekend. Both of them are going to be volleyball as well as volleyball. With this weekend, with these 2 games, they're going to be closing out a 3-game homestand that they've had this week. So be sure to tune into WXOU on Friday at 6 o'clock as Northern Kentucky comes into town. Joey and myself will be on the call for that with Logan in the studio. And then Saturday, 4 p.m., we're back at it. This time, Wright State comes to visit. I'll be on the call, as well as Harja Buttar with Joey on the studio. So be sure to tune in to those times. Be sure to cheer on your Golden Grizzlies and hear us from the arena anywhere you are. We'll give you the story and we'll give you everything you need for your Golden Grizzlies wherever you are. So now let's get into the show. Let's start off with the club sports as we usually do. So this has been probably in a little bit now, club football is going to be wrapping up their last week of practice. They practice Tuesdays and Thursdays. So tonight will be probably their last practice of the regular season, if I understand the schedule correctly. As they have one game coming up left. They're going to have one more conference match against Milwaukee this coming week. Currently, the Golden Grizzlies are 1-1 in conference and 1-3 overall. Their past game was at Toledo against the Rockets and an unfortunate loss for the Golden Grizzlies. So be sure to follow up with them, look on their website, look at their Instagram, and be sure to keep up to date with your Golden Grizzlies football team. Moving on to the D1 club hockey team. You saw me have an interview with them on the GioMoShow, as well as a football team. Just scroll through the GioMoShow interviews, and you'll find all the club sports that you need as far as the interviews are concerned. But for D1 club hockey, no games were played this week. Their last matchups were a couple of home games against Roosevelt, in which case the Golden Grizzlies did not come away with a win. But in other news, a little more lighthearted news, head coach Mammal added another addition to his family, releasing that on Twitter earlier this week. So congratulations, Coach, on a new member of the team, as he calls it. And then for this coming week of D1 club hockey, Friday night, that means tomorrow night, 8:55 p.m., be sure to get down to Suburban Ice Rochester for the Golden Grizzlies as they take on... Who they take on? They take on Grand Valley State University, a school that you guys all know well and good. Just across the state, they're coming over to Suburban Ice Rochester to take on our Golden Grizzlies. And then they're on the road the very next day against Calvin College. So this is going to be a great weekend for D1 club hockey. Be sure to stay up to date on their Instagram and their Twitter account, which is very active during games. They give live scores as the games go on. So be sure to follow them on Twitter. I believe it's simply at Oakland Hockey. It is. I know my stuff. And you can find them on their website at oaklandhockey.org. They got the easy titles as far as their information is concerned. And another little extra note, Grand Valley is ranked 11th. And then Calvin College is ranked 10th. So the Golden Grizzlies are going to be up against it with some high-quality teams. But I'm sure our Golden Grizzlies are going to be just fine. Moving on now to the D3 club hockey team. Like I mentioned before, and I'm going to remind you again, this week's interview is with D3 club hockey, with Duncan, with Jack, with Brendan, and some other members of the team in the background. Be sure to check that out after the show. It's going to be on YouTube at 7 o'clock and Spotify shortly after. I think I forgot to upload it. But it will be there. So for this week, and I'm reading this one straight off of their website, Oakland D3 Hockey's website. I don't remember the exact link to it. It's if you want to hear it, it's oaklandhockeyd3.acha.hockeytech.com. Did you get all that? Just Google Oakland D3 Hockey, and you can find their website. And since they do such a great job of writing pre-games and kind of like heads up on what they're doing, I'm just going to read straight from it. So for the Week 5 preview, the Golden Grizzlies are going to be facing New Mexico and Arizona State. We got some of the far west desert teams coming over to Buffalo Wild Wings Arena. So, as written, the regular season continues this coming week as the Golden Grizzlies, 6-2-0-1, welcome another 3-game weekend. This weekend sees two teams the Grizzlies have not played much in the past, with number 20 New Mexico 4-3-0-0 and 18 Arizona 3-0-1, making a trip to Buffalo Wild Wings Arena. So they're going to have some desert teams coming over to the Michigan side, coming over to our ice. So be sure to stay tuned with them and go down to Buffalo Wild Wings Arena. The games are free for students, and on WXOU per the regulations, I can't really advertise a game unless it's free for students to go to. So be sure to get down not only to Buffalo Wild Wings Arena for your D3 hockey, but get down to Suburban Ice Rochester for your D1 hockey. We got a lot of hockey going on at Oakland, and take advantage. It's fantastic stuff to watch. And you can follow Oakland D3 Hockey on Instagram at OU_D3_hockey. Moving on now to women's club lacrosse, another team I interviewed on the GioMoShow. He sent in a trend here. So this past weekend, they completed their last play day of the fall season. And for those who aren't familiar, a play day is simply 3 games in one day. It's simply hosting 3 teams. Everyone plays each other, and it's a long day, and it's a lot of work for the teams, and it's a lot of work for them, but that's where the real stuff happens. That's where champions are made. So they hosted Loyola Chicago, U of M, and Dayton for their final play day of the fall season. And you can keep up to date with them at OUW Club LAX. They do great on their Instagram as well. They got graphics, they got news, they got team pictures. They do a great job on their social media. So be sure to give them a follow as well. Moving on now to women's club soccer, a team I'm hoping to get on the GioMoShow in due time. They're having a fantastic season so far, and I got wind of this from the head honcho of club sports at Recreation and Wellbeing, Kyle Reese. I got news from him on the team that the team has now qualified and were selected out of 24 teams in the country to compete in the NCAA National Soccer Championship Tournament. That's going to be in Round Rock, Texas. And this is the first time in 21 years of the team's existence that they have been invited to Round Rock. So this is a huge moment for club sports, and I want everyone to feel the gravity of this one. 21 years of Oakland club soccer. None of them have reached the heights of this team this season. You feel that? It's called gravity. That's called significance. That's called championship pedigree, baby. And by the way, the NCAA stands for the National Intramural Recreational Sports Association. Big deal. Let me reword that. That is a big deal. I meant that sincerely. So that is the big headline for Golden Grizzlies women's club soccer, but they also played a game against U of M Mays this past Sunday. They faced off at the Stadium Field here at Oakland University, ended with a 0-0 draw, and I was able to go there and catch the last 10 minutes of the game just because I was walking by, and I saw a little bit of a crowd there, and I saw them playing. I'm like, let me go watch a little bit, and let me tell you something. The stands and the energy there was far greater than what I expected coming into a club soccer game. Okay, I'm going to be real here for a second. I know I'm more of a promotion type of broadcaster, but I wasn't expecting much of a crowd for any of these club games. But women's club soccer, they are there. They are cheering on parents, friends, relatives, who knows the relation of the fans, but they had a lot of energy there, and I had a little reel that I posted on Instagram, on my main Instagram, so you could go watch that and get a sense of the crowd at the Stadium Field. They were chanting OU. I was getting my share screaming in because I can't help it, and it was just an electric atmosphere. So be sure to go to my Instagram, get a feel of what happened during that game, or at least the vibes and the last whistle being blown to end the game. And you can also find them on their Instagram and find out who the MVPs of the game were. And I'm sure they'll be posting some news about their little trip to Round Rock, Texas. And then this coming week, they will be going on the road to play Washtenaw on Sunday at 1 p.m. So good luck to the Golden Grizzlies women's club soccer team. And now moving on to club softball. They are going to be going to U of M, to Carl Hutchins Stadium this Sunday, October 29th, to play a triple header at 10, at 12, and at 2. So we wish our Golden Grizzlies club softball team great luck at Carl Hutchins Stadium. Women's club rugby, another team that we are going to be getting an interview shortly on the GioMoShow in the coming weeks, with either this coming week or the following. We're going to get women's club rugby on the GioMoShow as well. So stay tuned for that. No other news about the team. And finally, club baseball. This isn't a team that I was able to talk about previously on some of my club sports segments because they didn't have a lot of information out there. They didn't have a lot of social media presence until now. They have recently just launched their OU Club Baseball Instagram account where you can find all your news, all your information, highlights, interviews, whatever they decide to post to let you know what's going on with club baseball. I talked to President Billy Peters of the team, a little short interview with him and Josiah Burchard. Also on my main Instagram, you can go watch that as well. I'm here for content, baby. I get that content rolling. If you think I'm all talk, I'm not. I'm about action as well. So either way, I was talking to him, and we did that little interview, and I wanted to tag him, and I realized there wasn't an Instagram page. So I kind of gave him a little nudge saying, hey, why don't you go start one? I think this will be good for your team. And lo and behold, the following day, the Oakland Club Baseball Instagram account was born. And the information they hold is that they're going to be playing U of M Flint this Sunday at 12 and 2:30. That's going to be a doubleheader at Whaley Park. That's going to be over in Flint, Michigan. Well, of course, it's U of M Flint. So be sure to keep up to date. And if you're in the Flint area and you're listening to the GioMoShow, first of all, hi. Thank you for tuning in to 88.3 FM, WXOU. But get down. Go watch some Oakland Club baseball. And if you think that this is just Giovanni is just doing this for his friend, Giovanni is just promoting some random team. They were number 2 in the country last year. They were number 1 at one point. They are in their division. It's D3 Club Baseball, to be exact. They were top 2 in the nation. So I ain't kidding around. This is a good team, and they've grown a lot in this offseason. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and especially when spring comes around, oh man, it's going to be fun. And that one is going to wrap up and finish up and put a bow on our club sports update on the GioMoShow. Coming up next, we're going to give you the NCAA Sports update, the Golden Grizzlies NCAA Sports update. But before we do that, and before we go to a couple PSAs, I got a message for you. From WXOU, we got a premiere late-night show happening tonight, Thursdays at 10 p.m. You can listen to the Eli Andrews Show, Thursdays at 10 at WXOU. We got a late night, and the FCC guidelines die down a little bit past 10 p.m. Viewer discretion is advised. Listen to Eli Sepulveda and Andrew Deacon ask their guests the wildest questions that they write for each other. That means Eli asks the guest Andrew's questions, and Andrew asks the guest Eli's questions. Join in on the hilarity tonight at 10 p.m. right here on WXOU, and we'll be right back for your NCAA Sports update on 88.3 FM WXOU. Welcome back, everybody, to the GioMoShow, your home for all Oakland sports on 88.3 FM. WXOU, I'm Giovanni Mosheri, still your host of the GioMoShow, and I did not move far in the past 30 seconds of this break. We're still here, and we're here to give you your NCAA sports update for the Golden Grizzlies, starting first and foremost with Esports. So this past Thursday, the Oakland Esports Rocket League team unfortunately took 2 losses in the CRL against the Redbirds and the Bison. You can check their Twitter account for all the news that I'm going to be telling you guys right now. Oakland Esports, they do a great job on their Twitter, giving you all the information on each of the games. And full transparency, I'm reading the news off of their Twitter right now. So, in addition to that, last night, that would be Tuesday night, they took home a win over JMU in the NACE last chance qualifier. So the NACE is the National Association of Collegiate Esports, I believe is what it stands for. But you could basically think of that as the more traditional league that college esports is played in. You could kind of think of it as the very I'm trying to think of a good way to say it. Kind of think of it as the NCAA. It's the standard esports. Collegiate Esports League. So either way, we came back with a win over JMU, and I believe that one was 4-0. And I believe it because I'm looking at it. In addition to that, Oakland Esports Smash Brothers B team. They picked up a win last night. That would be Wednesday night. Or they picked up a win last... no, that's Tuesday night. Forgive me. I'm trying to put together the calendar for you guys. So Tuesday night, Oakland Smash Brothers B team, they took home a win against Carthage, 2-0. So GG's to them. And they are now sitting 2-1 on the season and look to push to 3-1 after their match next Tuesday against Saginaw Valley State University. So be sure to stay tuned for Smash Brothers B team looking to go 3-1. In addition to that, Oakland Rocket League takes a loss in their last CRL match against Rochester University 2-3. It took them all the way to Game 5 of the set, and that one would be, I'm trying to infer the date of this one, but we could take this as the past week in esports. Whichever day it happened, and I'll just give you the results of it. So we'll kind of keep it a little more organized that way. And I'm kind of talking to myself at this point as well. So the squad will be on the field later this week. competing in both the NACE Last Chance Qualifier and the CRL. CRL stands for College Rocket League. It's another league that esports competes in. And that's the thing about esports is there's many leagues, there's many chances to achieve greatness. So we'll put it that way. So in addition to that, we got one more piece of news here from Oakland Esports. The Overwatch 2 team secured a win in their last chance qualifying match against Ferris State. 3-1. GG's, they say. And they are now qualified for the next phase of the last chance qualifier and are one step closer to making it to the fall 2023 playoffs, baby. That's what we're talking about. That's what Overwatch 2 does, baby. That's what we do. So that is going to wrap up this week of esports. Like I mentioned, be sure to follow them on Twitter at Oakland Esports for all of your news and all the news that I'm giving you guys. You guys can get it at a more timely manner and a more lively manner. And if you want live esports, if that's what you're looking for, then I got the place for you. Twitch.tv/Oakland Esports. I was trying to remember the URL for that one. But yeah, that's where you can find all of their matches. They stream them live, and you just might see me interviewing one of the players before every stream. So if that's any incentive for you guys, then be sure to check out their Twitch and watch their games live. Twitch.tv/Oakland Esports. Now for swim and dive, there was no meets this weekend, no meets this week. We covered their previous meet last week on the GioMoShow. You can find that on last week's Oakland Sports update video on YouTube, and you can find the full show on Spotify as well. So no meet this week, and they will now be on the road November 3rd through the 4th. So it's going to be Friday and Saturday against Purdue and Rutgers. They're going to be doing we'll call it a tri-meet against the two schools, and that's going to be in West Lafayette, Indiana. So good luck to the Golden Grizzlies swim team as they take on both Purdue and Rutgers. Now to women's soccer. Little piece of news, Macy Warenga was named to the Horizon League Women's Soccer All-Academic First Team for her accomplishments not only on the field, and the Oakland soccer field included, but in the classroom as well. So well done to Macy, and that's one that's you look. I mean, as a sports fan, let me put my sports fan hat on for a second. All academic team is nice, but you gotta analyze this a little bit. Let's put this into perspective a little bit. Not only is she one of the stars of the Golden Grizzlies soccer team, not only is she one of the stars in the Horizon League overall, but all that work that she puts into soccer, and any athlete that is on any all-academic team, first or second or third, any academic team, that means that not only are they good at their sport, but they're good at, in the classroom, at what they're studying to be when they grow up, for their future careers. They're setting themselves up for success. So a big congratulations to not only Macy, but any student that is going to be making it to the all-academic team. That it's not easy to rock it like that in college. For these classes are hard. So in the game news, this past Saturday, and you heard it on WXOU, women's soccer, they took on number 1 ranked Milwaukee, or number 1 in the Horizon League, Milwaukee, at the Oakland soccer field. That was Saturday at 1 p.m., and it ended in a tie 0-0. And from my perspective, when you're up against an undefeated team, they were, I believe, 6-0-2. Excuse me, let's say 6-0-2 to coming into this game, which means they tied a couple times, but they have never lost in the Horizon League. Oakland hung a draw on them. Yes, you would like to win. Yes, you would like some more conference points on top of it, but you made it, and you didn't lose to the Panthers. So they ended that game with a 0-0 draw. And then in the final game of the regular season, in the matchup in the Metro Series, Oakland University went to Detroit Mercy to fight for the 6th seed. And I didn't understand that the stakes were this high coming into that game. As I was watching it kind of in the background, we weren't able to cover it on WXOU, unfortunately. But Oakland and Detroit Mercy were right on each other. And I didn't realize, and this is something that you guys can learn as well about the Horizon League, is that top 6 teams are the only ones that get into the tournament. So you got to be the 6th seed at the most, or I should say at the least, to be able to chase the Horizon League championship. So this game was going to be the decider whether Oakland or Detroit Mercy was going to represent the state of Michigan in the Horizon League tournament. And with the game tied 1-1 going into the half, Detroit Mercy were the team with the final goal. They won 2-1, and they kicked us out of the Horizon League tournament. I'm not happy about it, and I'm sure the team's not very happy about it. But it was a fantastic season overall. The Golden Grizzlies, they finished their regular season with a record of 3-2-5 in conference and 5-6-7 overall. They had 14 conference points, and Detroit Mercy had 15, which is what qualified them for the Horizon League tournament. Stings that it has to be against our rivals. Stings that it has to be against the Titans. And, not good news for Oakland University soccer. And as a little teaser, and I can't guarantee this one, but if you want to hear thoughts from Coach Juan Pablo Favero on the end of the season and on how their team has played overall, we're going to have an interview on WXOU with Juan Pablo Favero. Be sure to be on the lookout for Harsh Buttar talking with the head coach, most likely. Not rock solidly planned yet. However, I got a good feeling that one is going to go through. We can't wait to talk to Coach and get his insight as to how the season went. So now moving on to volleyball. Volleyball, they had quite a busy week, playing 3 games, one Friday, October 20th, another one the Saturday, 21st, and then Tuesday the 24th. And they got 2 home games coming in to this weekend. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But moving back to last Friday, the 20th, they went to Robert Morris to face the Colonials, a team that they, I believe, swept in the arena. We called that one a WXOU. Me, Joey Hayes was play-by-play. I was color for that one, just off the dome, just from memory. And we swept them 3-0. But when we went to their house, when we went to Moon Township, they laid it on us. 1-3 was the final score against RMU. So then they followed that up by going to Youngstown, staying on the road to face the Penguins, a team that did them dirty in the arena that same weekend. So it's kind of a repeat weekend. This time Oakland's on the road. But the Oakland, they hung a sweep on them. They hung the 3-0 on the Penguins' heads to come out of that weekend with a 1-1 record and, a nice sweep on top of that. The Golden Grizzlies then came back home for the first of their 3 games in the arena this week to face the Purdue Fort Wayne Mastodons. They did that on Pride Night, and that one went all the way to 5. Oakland University was able to come out with a win in fantastic and thrilling fashion, 3-2 over the Mastodons. I was there for the last, set and a half, because I was working on I had a little group project. I had my obligations to my academics, as everybody else does at the student level. We had finished up that group project, and I saw the score. I'm like, ooh, Oakland's down 2-1 against the Mastodons. It's in set 4. Oakland's in the lead. I think there's going to be a set 5. I'm going to get down to the arena, and I'm going to cheer on my Golden Grizzlies. And I even had my Golden Grizzlies gear on. I had an Italian Stallion shirt on that I got from New York. But I was still able to get there. I gave Purdue Fort Wayne the business at the end of that set, and I cheered on my Golden Grizzlies in the 5th. And we came back out of it with a win. I like to claim a little bit of responsibility. I'm just kidding. No. It's fun to be in the stands, and it's fun to cheer on the Golden Grizzlies. They come out of that one with a victory. And that's going to land them at 5th place in the Horizon League. 8-4 overall is the record. 8-4 in the conference. And then 14-10 overall. Now on a 2-game win streak, Youngstown and now Purdue Fort Wayne. And they're looking to add on top of that. You're going to see your Golden Grizzlies at the arena, or you can listen to them on WXOU Friday night, 6 o'clock against Northern Kentucky. And then Saturday afternoon, 4 o'clock against Wright State. So be sure to get down to the OU Credit Union Arena. I'm going to try and get into the habit of saying the proper name, as that big naming rights deal happened over this past summer. So get down to the OU Credit Union Arena to watch the Golden Grizzlies defeat the Norse. And watch the Golden Grizzlies defeat the Raiders. And if you're not able to make it, then we can deliver the story to you on WXOU. Be sure to tune in, WXOU.org/live. That one's going to be a lot of fun. And Saturday is going to be Halloween. Going to be a costume contest in the OU Credit Union Arena. So be sure to get there and to dress up, dude. That one's going to be fun. I can't wait to see what you guys have in store for us in the student section. I'm going to be calling the game, so I'll be looking across the media bench, and I'll be dressed up as a broadcaster. We'll say that. So now moving on to men's soccer to wrap up the Oakland NCAA Sports update. So the Golden Grizzlies are number 1 in the conference. Men's soccer is at the top of the game. Men's soccer has the best record in the Horizon League with 5-2 in conference and 6-7-2 overall. 15 conference points, baby. And they did that after defeating Robert Morris in Moon Township 1-0. In that game, we saw a goal by Donovan Phillip, the freshman who's been making waves in the Horizon League. He's been named to the top 100 freshman soccer players on someone's list. I can't remember, but he's been really making a name for himself. We interviewed him on WXOU Sports after the win against Michigan Tuesday, September 19th, I think was the date. Either way, scroll down on WXOU Sports YouTube channel, and you can find the interview that I had with Donovan Phillip. Fantastic player to talk with. I think he was steaming in that interview. It was a kind of a chilly night. He was steaming after that win, as I'm sure he was after this one as well. So now that Oakland is number 1 in the Horizon League, now that Donovan Phillip is really making a name for himself, I almost forgot. The Defensive Player of the Week in the Horizon League was also Michael Sly Jr. for his great performance against the Colonials. So where does that leave us now? Oakland's number 1. Oakland's 5-2, and they got 15 conference points. They got 2 games left in the regular season to maintain that title because it's hard enough to get there, but what's harder is keeping it. So they are going to be traveling to Green Bay to face the Phoenix. That's going to be Saturday, 2 p.m. That one you can find on ESPN+. I don't like advertising that, but we're not going to be there on WXOU, so you can watch that, and you can keep up to date on GoldenGrizzlies.com as well. And then as well, so that's the second and last game in the Horizon League regular season. That final game is going to be here at Oakland University. It's going to be at the Oakland Soccer Field. And who will it be against? None other than our rivals, Detroit Mercy. Wednesday, November 1st at 2 p.m. at the Oakland Soccer Field. It's going to be the blackout game, and it's going to be the game where the Golden Grizzlies hold their number 1 seed in the Horizon League and go into the tournament white hot. So be sure to get down there to the Oakland Soccer Field. We do not have a plan, or we do not have plans to call the game. Unfortunately, it's middle of the afternoon and could not get the staff for it. So it's going to be on you guys to go down and see with your own eyes and cheer with your own voice and to make your presence known and to make that team 30 miles away, to make them stay in their place. I believe Detroit Mercy is 5th in the Horizon League. So how about we keep them down there, huh? Keep them at 5th place. So that is going to wrap up the Oakland NCAA Sports Update. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys are going to be going down to the OU Credit Union Arena, going down to the Oakland Soccer Field, tuning in on twitch.tv/Oakland Esports, and keeping up to date on all of it on GoldenGrizzlies.com. Hope you all do that, and I hope I've been able to deliver you guys the news that you need. And before we go into break, I got to tell you about another WXOU show, the one and only Friday Night Groove. Fridays at 8 p.m., hosted by DJ RBJ. Since 2011, Friday Night Groove is your home for some of the best soul, the best jazz, electronic, indie, and alternative music here at the radio station. DJ RBJ also has interviews with artists and has one of the best voices at the station. I can listen to that guy forever, and I hope you guys come somewhere close to forever with DJ RBJ for Friday Night Grooves. And we are back here on the GioMoShow, 88.3 FM WXOU, your home for all Oakland University sports. My name is Giovanni Mosheri, and it's time for football therapy. It's time to talk about the Lions, unfortunately, for this week, and it's time to talk about the NFL as a whole. So for the Lions, I'm going to read you my I'll read you my notes for my preview of this game, what I thought about the game last Thursday going into it. So I wrote down they now have a tough matchup against Baltimore. They're 4-2. Ravens are coming back from London, but they had a good performance against the Titans. They got a tough defense. They lead the league in sacks, and they got one of the best linebackers in Roquan Smith. The Lions have had trouble in previous years against mobile quarterbacks, so we'll see how the defense has adjusted against Lamar Jackson. I'm still reading my notes here. Quote, I think it's going to be a great game, and I expect the Lions to keep up their performance on the road. What the hell happened to that? That one was completely out of thin air to me. That one was I still can't wrap my head around how that happened, around how we let that happen, how the team. I'm struggling for words here, but I'm on radio, so I'll I'll figure out a way to say it. But this was just so shockingly bad. This one was not something that you expected out of the Lions this season. This was basically the Carolina game from last year, except it was against a good team, so you could kind of say that this one wasn't as bad as Carolina. But dude, this was a thrashing. We didn't even come close to putting up a fight. We were buried immediately in the first quarter, 21-0 before the Lions even had a first down. One of the top 5 offense in the league, one of the top 5, couldn't get a first down before they're down to 3 touchdowns. Wow. I don't know what the hell happened. The game was immediately over. I was listening to the radio. I was here. I was still getting some editing done for WXOU Sports' YouTube channel. So I was listening to the show I was listening to the broadcast on the radio. Dan Miller, Lomas Brown, TJ Lang. I like my radio cast. I like my guys there on the Detroit Lions radio network. And they didn't even know. They didn't even know what to say. They couldn't even comprehend what was happening either. There were times Dan Miller would say, "Hey TJ, do you got any good news?" This was the first quarter they were saying that. It was astonishing, to say the least. And for me, it was I've called Oakland University Club football, both their home games this season. I was able to call this year, and I was happy to do so. It was awesome. But the first game that they played in the season was against Ohio State, and it was a game similar to this. Ohio State was really good. Their club team is, the teams with the varsity D1 football tend to have good club teams as well. The game was just like this. So I know what it's like for Dan, Lomas, and TJ to sit through a thrashing of a game like that, and to have to keep the broadcast going, and to basically know the game's over immediately. It's not easy to keep the broadcast going. And I'm glad I didn't watch it, dude. I came back and it was, I came back to the apartment. The game was still on. It was the fourth quarter, but I don't even, there's not even a lot you could say about this. Lamar Jackson just, said, "Oh, I'm going to be an MVP today. I'm going to destroy these guys today. All the receivers, they're going to get passes today. Mark Andrews, he's going to get a touchdown on National Tight End Day," which was a storyline throughout the NFL that week. And it's just crazy. But I'm glad I didn't watch it. So I had a few ideas on how to go through this. So the media, I want to talk about kind of like a media curse. I want to talk about a too much of a good thing, too much of good coverage might come back to bite you. Kind of a superstitious kind of thing. So the national media was getting really hot on the Detroit Lions. Rightfully so. Stephen A. Smith, he put us number 1 on Stephen A's A-list. Rich Eisen had us number 4 in his one and only power rankings. People were talking about Jared Goff in the MVP conversation, and people were arguing against it, but the topic was there. The words, Jared Goff, and MVP, were on the same headline. They're on that scrolling bar of talking heads on TV. And it seems like it was, a little bit of me was like, all this going into a tough game, I'm not liking it. I don't know. And you could tell, in the notes I had before, previewing the game, that I knew it was a tough game. I kind of wanted to reel back a little bit. But I had no reason to think that this would happen. But media was getting really hot on the Lions. And it seemed to have burned them, at least for this game. And now people are giving the Lions the "who have you played" or "who have you really played" card. They're getting that thrown on them. It's like you're playing Uno, and you got your yellow 2, and you got your yellow 7 coming next, and then somewhere around the rotation, you get a +4 added on you, and then it gets stacked on and on and on and on. I play with +4 stacks, and you're left with +12. That's what happened this week. We were playing Uno. We had an Uno left, and we got the triple +4 put on us, dude. And it's not over. Obviously, the season's not over. But this was bad. But zooming out, the Lions are 5-2. It's okay. My season predictions, if you go way back at the GioMoShow, Football Therapy, me and my cousins, we all did our season predictions all the way back in May. I believe it was shortly after the draft. And I believe I had the Lions 12-5. That means that we have to lose 5 times, if you're thinking of it that way. We lost to the Seahawks and we lost to the Ravens. Those are good teams. Seahawks isn't kind of fun because of the history with it, but and even Baltimore, we haven't beaten in like the 7 past matchups or something. John Harbaugh is a good coach, dude. So speaking of coaching, I wanted to bring up another topic here in regards to the Lions. And it's something that me and my brothers were kind of talking about. Me and my cousins, we'll text each other throughout the game. And it was thrown out there if Aaron Glenn is on fraud watch. The text simply read, Aaron Glenn fraud watch? And I was kind of thinking about that. And I don't have data to back this up. I'm going just on gut feeling. But obviously the Lions defense has played really, really good this season. Held a admittingly weakened Chiefs team, held them to whatever points we needed to win. It wasn't like we completely stopped them. Well, let me try again. The Lions held, what was the stat? Forgive me, I'm trying to remember. Yeah, in the second half of the Chiefs game, the Chiefs didn't convert a third down the entire time. I think that's a stat. And they had 2 passes caught by receivers that entire second half. So they had that great defensive performance. They shut down at the time, pretty good Falcons. We, obviously destroyed the Panthers. We held Tampa Bay to 6 points. We were the number 1 rushing defense in the league. And, anything that takes the title away from the Browns defense is fine by me. So the defense has been great to start the season, except against Seattle and against Baltimore. So I was kind of going back and thinking, it's those mobile quarterbacks. It's those with great tight end play that seem to have the Lions number on, as far as what they could do against our defense. And it kind of got me thinking. I have a hypothesis that I haven't quite proven yet, but I want to put it out there and see what you guys think. Aaron Glenn's defense, when it's good, it's really good. But when it's bad, it freaking stinks. Think about going back to last year, the 1-6 start. That defense couldn't do anything. But then the defense got really good. And the defense started to be, within those last 10 games of the season, one of the best in the league if you isolate those 8 games. But then the Carolina game happens. Something about the defense just said, I'm good. Something about the defense seemed to sit out that week. So we see that kind of come up here and there with Aaron Glenn's defense. It's either really hot or really cold. That's my hypothesis on it. And obviously some games are back and forth. I know the Bills game. Well, you can even have the Bills game as an example of that. You could kind of argue that it was a little bit cold that day. Thanksgiving against the Buffalo Bills. So that's kind of my feeling on Aaron Glenn. Is he on fraud watch? He's leaning towards it. He is on his way. If the defense continues to be this kind of hot and cold kind of thing, if the Raiders score more than 20 on us, I might have to move him closer to fraud watch. So I guess by definition of it, I'm watching him. Thus, he's on fraud watch. I don't think he's too far into it, though. I think he's just approaching fraud watch. So we'll see how he goes for the rest of the season. We'll see if this just is a really good team doing a really good thing. But that's that's kind of where I'm at with Aaron Glenn. I got my eye on him. He's on Fraud Watch a little bit. So, otherwise, Lions are 5-2. I want to go back to this one. I want to end on a positive note. I'm a positive guy. The GioMoShow is a show of positivity, baby. We believe and we're optimists here on the GioMoShow. It's a lot more fun that way as a fan. So, we're 5-2. And the common thing I've been hearing around is if you asked everybody, hey, we're 5-2 at week 7. You cool with that? Yeah, I'm good with it. It's awesome. If they say, hey, you're going to be like 3 games above the Vikings, and that's the closest person in your division to taking the title, and you ask a Lions fan if they're going to be fine with it. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, we're going to be fine with it. That's awesome. But, 5-2 is 5-2. It's a good record. Some of the other great teams in the NFL are starting to, feel it a little bit. 49ers are having 2 straight losses. We'll get to that in a little bit. Eagles, they're chugging along still, but, it's getting to that part of the season. Some teams are going to upset them. Some teams are going to show up against the best teams. So, it's getting to that part of the season. As long as we can kind of continue, if we do another 5-2 the next 7 games, that means we're 10-4. Wouldn't you be happy with that? I'd be very happy with that. So that's where I'm at. Panic mode? No, not even close. We're fine. Move on. Let's kick the crap out of the Raiders on Monday Night Football in front of everybody, and let's get back to business. Go into the bye week white hot, get ready for the Chargers coming up, and then do everything they can to run the frickin' table after the bye week. And get David Montgomery back, please. Wow. I didn't even mention that because I don't even know if Montgomery would have done anything against the Ravens, but dude, he better come back quick because that Lions offense runs off of Montgomery. And it's not a secret. It's not news. But like Rich Eisen, his phrasing is the Lions need a running back with a little sand in his pants, a little concrete in the trunks, if you will. And David Montgomery has that sandy pants. That it's a heavy runner. That's a between the tackles, bash and gash in the way I say it. So we're gonna need him back quick. Jahmyr Gibbs, good statistical game, but it doesn't fill the same role as David Montgomery does. So a best wishes from the GioMoShow to David Montgomery. Please come back at least after the bye week, to face the Chargers and really get this thing rolling. And let's do it. So kind of a preview against the Raiders. I kind of hinted at it. The Raiders are 3-4, which I'm personally surprised at. They lost against the Bears last week. So that is, if they lose to the Bears, and now they're coming into Ford Field on Monday Night Football to face the Kings of the North, the Lions, the top dog in the NFC North, one of the best teams in the NFL, at least as of last week. North, that team, that North team. I think the Lions are going to get this one. I think it's going to be a get the frustration out game. This is a you came at the wrong time game for the Raiders. So I see no excuse to lose this game. And that's putting a lot on them. And I understand that there's Devontae Adams. I understand that there's Jacobs, the running back. Almost forgot his name. But you got Devontae Adams there. And bad mood or not, they got Devontae Adams. So, yeah, they got some pieces. They got Max Crosby, the Condor from Eastern Michigan. I love that nickname, and I love what Crosby's all about. But I don't think that kind of top-heavy of a team is going to be able to kick it with a much more stable, strong in the trenches team like the Lions. I always say teams with a good trench game, a lot more consistent, a lot more stable than those with the top-heavy superstar players, which I believe the Raiders are. So, yeah, you better kick the crap out of these guys, man, or else then there's some real fraud watch with the Lions, and I better not see that. Stephen A. Smith has already called the Lions fraudulent. immediately after putting them number 1 on his list, which I'm sure was kind of why he got so mad at the Lions about it. But that is my 2 cents. That's the Detroit Lions football therapy. Let's get to the rest of the NFL. Let's kind of skim through the games of Week 7. Then we'll give you the picks of Week 8. And as far as the picks go, I had a stinker of a week. I had 5 games correct. That's it. That was not my best performance. And I believe I'm out of the running for first place here. But anything can happen, and we'll say I'm playing with house money here. So going through Week 7, Jaguars, they give it to the Saints, 31-24. Like I mentioned, the Bears, they beat the Raiders pretty badly. Tyson Badgett, the D2 first game in the NFL, quarterback that everybody's talking about, and people are half joking that should be the quarterback of the future and not Justin Fields. But I personally find that ridiculous. But it's a fantastic story. So that happened. Browns and Colts was a crazy, crazy game. This one was, the Colts popped off. I thought the Browns were going to smother the Colts. But Gardner Minshew, 305, 2 touchdowns, an interception. He did pretty well. Jonathan Taylor, 18 for 75 and a touchdown. The Colts are not bad. They're 3-4. Browns are 4-2 now. Score was 39-38. Browns win. But that was a wild game. Some weird calls and some weird decisions. But it was a great game. Definitely an opening slot, the 1 o'clock slot. That was the most entertaining game. Patriots somehow beat the Bills. The Bills are on fraud watch. Let me tell you that. Bills are on fraud watch. They're 4-3, and they lost to the stinky Patriots. You kidding me? 29-25. They gave it up at the, it was a walk-off touchdown by Gritty Gesicki on the Patriots. Mac Jones playing quarterback this time. But that one, I had to squint my eyes and rub and clean my screen to make sure I looked at it right. Giants and Commanders, gross game. 14-7 Giants win. Both the Commanders and the Giants, not the best in the league. We'll say that. Giants stink, and I don't know what's going on with the Commanders. They came out pretty hot, and they're down to 3-4 now. Not over, but doesn't look great. Steelers and Rams. Steelers are putting points on the board now. 24-17. I mean, 24 is not a lot of points, but the Fire Canada chants seem to not be working, as he's still there, and the Steelers are somehow 4-2. That's been a funny topic to see throughout the week in all those sports shows. Is like Steelers are 4-2. How'd that happen? I don't know how it happened. I thought they stink. However, they're making it work. Tom, I guess we'll just call it Tomlin. We'll just blame it on the very experienced and very successful head coach. Then a division game in the West: Seahawks and Cardinals. Seahawks take care of business, 20-10, move up to 4-2. Cardinals are 1-6, but they're trying hard. Broncos and Packers. Packers have really dug themselves a hole, dug themselves their own grave that the Lions at least gave them the shovel for. They lose to the Broncos 19-17. Disgusting score. And that's sending the Packers to 2-4. Let's go. I love it. I love it. Chargers and Chiefs. The Chargers just can't make it work. They're 2-4 as well. The Chargers are as bad as the Chargers are as bad as the Packers this year, dude. I don't know what's going on. Chargers just can't make it work. Dolphins and Eagles. That one was a lot of fun. The Eagles, they took care of business, beating the white hot Dolphins and sending them into fraud watch, sending them into who have you really played territory. And then Monday Night Football, Vikings and 49ers. Vikings come up, they get the upset. 22-17. Vikings win. Vikings are now 3-4. So I guess that's 2.5. Or we'll say 2 games underneath the Lions in the North, but either way, we're at a stiff arms range in terms of division standings. But knocks the 49ers down. Fine with me. We're playing for seeding already. Division's taken care of. We're playing for seeding now. And a game like that is exactly what we need. So that is going to wrap up the GioMoShow NFL football therapy. We went through the Detroit Lions, their attempt against the Ravens. We went through my preview of my thoughts against the Raiders. Please kick the crap out of them. And we went through the scoreboard of the NFL in what week is it? 7. We went through in week 7. And I'll tell you what we're going to do on the GioMoShow is here's what I'll do. Forgive me for those of you who tune in live to WXOU and listen to the GioMoShow all the way to the end. I really appreciate that. However, we are running low on time, and I want to make sure that I don't only have 5 games correct this week. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to extend the show, or at least I'll go off air and then record my standalone segment of the GioMoShow picks. I'll put a little more thought into it, and we'll try to do better than 5 games this week because it is currently 6:58. I got 2 minutes, and I want to give this one some quality time. So be sure to stay tuned to the GioMoShow's YouTube page. I'll post the GioMoShow picks very shortly after the show, so be sure to tune into that. So I'll keep you guys up to date on my picks. So with that, we're going to end the show a couple minutes early here. We're going to give the potential following radio host some time to get into the studio and some time to warm up and some time to make a fantastic show on WXOU. So with that being said, thank you everybody for listening to the GioMoShow on 88.3 FM WXOU. This is Giovanni Mosheri, Sports Media Director, tuning out and saying thank you for listening, and we hope you have a great week, and I hope my picks do better.